welcome to this edition of Above the Fold. I'm your host, Bailey Holland, and today we have Managing Editor Katie Standlee from the Vista here to talk about her story, proposed bills to make walkouts illegal. So, Katie, could you go ahead and just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. There were several pieces of legislation that were released that would basically prohibit any kind of protest from happening, similar to the ones that happened last April. And so specifically, House Bill 2214, which was authored by Representative Todd Russ, it basically would make it to where it would be illegal for the board or school district employees to strike or threaten to strike, or otherwise close schools to interfere with school operations as a means of resolving any issues with the Board of Education or the State Department of Education or the State Board of Education, the legislature, or any other public official or body.
Okay, and Vice President of Oklahoma Education Association, Catherine Bishop, mentioned that it's on the verge of being unconstitutional. What else did she mention in the story about that?
Absolutely. She was specifically talking about this House Bill 2214, and she was saying that they feel that it's an extreme overreach. They think that it's not only constitutional, but it's limiting the people's voices in the people's house. So she was saying that OEA is going to be speaking with legislators and things like that to get these bills possibly off the table.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that the teacher walkout lasted for 9 days, and I actually had a bunch of people that I know that participated in it, so people are not going to be too happy to hear about this because it's just so dear to their hearts, people just want their voices to be heard. So Dean James Mackle of Professional Studies also commented on the issue. Could you just tell us a little bit about what he said?
Absolutely. So he was saying that the bottom line is that the general public is on the teacher's side. So he was saying that he doesn't think that these bills will come to pass because at the end of the day, legislators are going to be more concerned about what their constituents think. And if their constituents are against their bills, then it will affect them getting reelected. And so basically Mitchell was saying that that the general public is on the teacher's side.
Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting. So there were other bills that you mentioned throughout the story.
For sure.
Yeah, specifically, so there was 2214, and then also House Bill 2208.
Right. That one was also authored by Russ. And so this one impacts school organizations that help employees like the Oklahoma Education Association. So if this bill is passed, this would prohibit those specified existing organizations from continuing to represent teachers, and this one would go into effect by December 2020. This would require all the boards of education to hold a secret ballot election to determine if the organization retains support of the majority of its employees. So they'll go and they'll review the organization, and if it's not anymore, then it'll be put on the back burner type thing.
Okay, yeah. So was there any other bills that were mentioned?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the Senate side, Senator Mark Allen authored SB 592, which states that if the bill is passed, any organization or a group of 100 or more that engages in an organized protest at the Capitol will be required to pay a bond of $50,000 with the Oklahoma Capital Improvement Authority in order to offset the cost of additional security and cleanup. That was one of the big complaints they had about the walkout, was that afterwards there was a lot of cleanup. But actually some teachers are coming back and saying, but we stayed and cleaned up ourselves. There's kind of that back and forth there on that one. But then there was also 574, also authored by Allen, which states that each school district of education will have to establish a code of ethics and professional responsibility for teachers that provides that no teacher, regardless of continuing contract status, is permitted to talk during class time about any piece of legislation or advocating for or against candidates, legislation, or political issues.
Okay. Well, what about like history teachers? Do you think that?
I think that maybe if it pertained to the course, but anything outside of that.
Beliefs, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. And then was there anything else, like House bills, Senate bills, anything?
There are some other ones, but for that, you'll have to look those up on the basic search at the Oklahoma Legislator website.
Perfect. Okay. Well, good. Well, all right. Well, that's all we have for today on Above the Fold. Thank you guys for joining us, and tune in next week.